Hi guys. So I've got a bunch, as you can see, of different die cuts and pieces. So I'm going to walk you through what I cut them out with, and then I will put the card together and hopefully you'll enjoy this. So this is an all die cut card. There's no, the only stamping will be, I'll just grab it because I nearly forgot that bit, will be a, not that one, wrong one, hello, will be from the My Pink Stamper Punnylicious. At the moment, you guys know that on my Cricut series, I've been working through some punny sentiments. I chose this stamp set and then built or created the little critters to create projects with, if that makes sense. So this was cut. This is the whale from Create a Critter Cricut cartridge, and I cut him at 2.75 or 2 3/4, depending which machine you're using. And I'm going to use the Get Whale Soon because that's punny. And I think that's the one I'm using. Yeah. And I'm going to then incorporate this guy into a scene because I love making scenery cards. I can't help myself. It's just, I love them. So I'm going to walk you through what I've got here. So I've got a standard A2 size card, so 11 inches by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 5 1/2, and it's going to be a side fold card. When your cards are more like weighty, then I think a card that stands like so with the fold on the side is just, it gives it more stability. If this was, if the whole design was going this way, if it was quite heavy, it might tend to want to do that. So I tend to use a side fold card just because most of the time they are quite heavy, especially if you've got a lot of different die cuts and cardstock on it. It's gonna weigh it down. So standard size card. I then have, well, I went back and forth on this. So to start with, I have a piece of who is this? This is Stampin' Up's Daffodil Delight, just cut to the same size as the base. So this is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. But then I remembered from a previous video that I've shown how to use baby wipes and your stencils to get like an embossed and distressed, it's like an ink lift kind of technique. And when I remembered that I'd already done that, I thought that might make a better background, especially with the whole scene of the palm trees and everything else. So I think I'm probably going to use this one instead. But you could use a yellow and just you could ink in an orangey colour to create like a sunset scene. That was the idea behind it. But I think I'm going to use this one in the end. Right, so gone through my little whale. So he's the Cricut Create a Critter guy. Then this piece here is crumb cake cardstock, which is Stampin' Up, but you could use a craft or a brownie, sort of pale brown, or you could use white for all the die cuts and just ink them. But this wavy border is a what am I trying to say? It's a lawn fawn, hello, die. I have them on these magnetic boards. It just makes sense for me. But I'll end up using these wavy borders, stitch borders, to create my sand. That's what that's for. And then for the waves, this is actually, if you look at the back, there's actually like a funny little thing here. And I'll tell you what that's for. So it comes from the, I can't remember the name of it now. It's like an inside pop-up kind of mechanism. So these are the two pieces for the waves. So there's that funny little notch. And I just glued them behind each other so you can't see that. But actually what happens is you have this piece that would sit on the inside. These two pieces fold and create like a pop-up. So when you open it, it pops up and you have these two sort of hillsides, and Lawn Fawn have created like grassy hillsides, and like these are clouds, and then obviously the ocean waves, that you can then put over the top of these pieces in your card, to create a different scene on the inside. So I just used them as they are, cut them out, and then, like I say, I just stuck them together like that. So I've got like a little wavy scene. And these are the same width, so they're the same width as the card base. Then my little crab and these little, oh, not those guys, all the little coconuts and the leaves and the little crab, you know, the what's this called? Not the stem, the trunk, hello, of the tree, is also another Lawn Fawn set. It's this little set here. I have a whole bunch of things on here. So these are the coconuts. There's the two different size leaves and tree trunks, and then there's the little crab. And I just cut them out. I cut them out 3 times. I had some extra coconuts there, so these are just stuck to some glue dots, but I'm probably going to add those just to the floor to make it look like some of them had dropped off. And this tree actually, the way the 2 trees go are like that. So you've got the left one going slightly towards the right, and the right hand one, the little one, going towards the left. But obviously on the other side of my card I needed it to go that way as opposed to that way, if that makes sense. So I just turned this piece over, and I actually used just a bone folder on this side to get rid of any indents or marks that you might get when you first you know, when you've die cut it. There might be some sort of ridges and that sort of thing. I'll see if I can see it on this one, if it'll come close enough. So these kind of like these little tiny ridges, I can't really pick it up on the camera, but I just rubbed it with a bone folder, and that way I could actually turn my tree round, so now he can face that way. So that's those guys. Then these little shells, this is where mixing your different dyes comes in really handy. So if you do have a bunch of dyes for scene building, you know I love them, and I do try different companies as well, although I am obsessed with Lawn Fawn, we all know this. But this is an MFT beach scene builder, and basically you get the palm tree, you get you get extra leaves, you get the main leaves, you get some clouds, the sun or moon, depending what time of day you're doing. This die here cuts these 2 pieces, and you can use it either way. So one could be water, one can be sand, and it's clever because you can use it either way and have maybe this is the water and this is the sand, or you could flip it and have it the other way around. There's your coconuts again, and then these are the 2 shells that I used from that set. And just die cut these in some Stampin' Up cardstock. I think most of this is Stampin' Up. I think he's cut out of some Gina K cardstock. And these are just in 2 pinks. I just thought they worked quite well. So I'm going to show you how the layout of how I want to put this guide together. And then I will get it put together and show you, maybe I'll film it, I'm not sure. And then I will obviously show you the card at the end. So I'm going to have this, ignore the base piece for now because it's going to sit on there anyway. So if I'm using this sunset one, I'm going to have him sitting something like this, and I will have my little palm trees like so, my little crabbaroo, and then I will just dot the seashells around It's just something a little bit different. It does look a little funny because he is massive compared to like the scaling of like the palm trees and stuff, but it doesn't matter, it's your creation. So I think I'm going to use the sunset background, sun rays background. I think that's probably going to work quite nicely. So I'll get it put together, and then I'll come back and show you what I did and how we get to put the sentiment on as well. I'm back. So the sun rays is just slightly too narrow, and if I have to cut it where the sun rays end here, it's just going to be the wrong size for what I had planned. So I'm not going to use this for this card, but I am going to use the Daffodil Delight piece, and I'm going to bring in some ink. So I've got some distress ink. I've got Abandoned Coral and Spiced Marmalade, and I thought the Abandoned Coral will bring in the pinky colours that we have, and then this hopefully will help to bring in a bit of a sunset sort of look. That's the idea anyway. So let's just see how this goes. So it just doesn't have to be perfect, just get some colour on there. Oh, there's some marks there, you know. And bear in mind where that's going to be on there. Look at that. I mean, even that just makes a big difference, doesn't it? So if you've only got like a spiced marmalade or that sort of colour, that will work just fine. I want to add in a bit of this. I just want to get rid of this in here. Just because it will go on to your ink pads, you know, and wherever you're inking, so just be aware of that. Let's grab the right tool. That'd be silly, wouldn't it? So this is Abandoned Coral. Don't know, oh yeah, it does. Wasn't sure if it would make any difference really, but I think it does. Made quite a big difference actually. I'm just taking the other brush, going back and forth. I haven't re-inked it or anything, I just went over it to try and even out the blend. I think that will work nicely. I mean, there's some weird thing there. Am I gonna like that? Well, we'll see. I might have to cover that up. I don't know what that is. It's just like an imperfection in the card. I'll add something to it. So let's just grab, I'll just grab the same one. Clean this up. So now we have our sunset style background, and while you're here I may as well just do this here. If the camera dies I'll have to come back and show you what I've done, but yeah. So I'm going to use a combo of wet adhesive and some tape for this, some foam tape, sorry. So I'm just lining this up where that will go on the bottom so that I can work out where he needs to sit, so that because this is kind of thick with all the layers, I'll need to make sure that I have maybe a bit of foam on the waves so that it doesn't interfere with him. It'll make more sense in a second. So let's have him about there, I think. I also didn't want him too high at the top, otherwise he's really going to look out of place. I think that works. So yes, he looks a bit odd there now. So on this I want to put some tape, some foam tape along this bit here so that it raises it so he's not, because if you try and stick this flat it's not going to stick flat very nicely. So I think just a layer of foam tape will work quite nicely. Unorganized. So I'm just going to pop it at the bottom here. It's a bit too much. And then so that then just allows for a little gap, but at least it doesn't look like when you're layering it, it's not going to be all squonky. So I'm going to just get this off. This on here. Like that. Let's get the sand on here. So the sand, I'm not going to put adhesive or too much adhesive along the edge, just in case I want to tuck anything in. So I'll leave some of that, you know, without any, just in case you want to stick something behind it or... Right, I'm going to have this guy over here, the little one. Right, so I'll need a bit of foam there. Again, this will just level it up. So it's the same sort of height. Doesn't have to be perfect, but and I think my camera's going to die, so I'll keep adding these in and actually I'll just keep adding until it flops out on me, because it's gonna, and then I'll come back with it later on. So let's get some of these on. Little crab here. I think this needs a bit of... The reason it's probably not sticking is because this might still be wet, so I'll have to do that one as well. And then I'll take these little guys and just, thought they'd be quite cute, just piled up against a tree. Like that. And then seashells. Just pop them anywhere. No rhyme or reason. This is where it's sort of sticking them behind that little thing there. That's why we didn't put it all the way, adhesive all the way. And let's have another one over here. And perhaps let's put this one here then. Right. So now I'm just going to stamp the sentiment and then stick it onto the card. So we might just about make this. Don't hold your breath. And oh, hold on. Yep. This video was going to go a different way, so hopefully I will just about get this done. So get well soon. Just with some VersaFine Onyx black ink. It's a good black ink, and that's squonk, but it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Oh, that's gonna bother me, but it's fine. Get well soon. And then all I'm gonna do is stick this to the front of this card. So use some thingy adhesive. It's just quicker and easier these days. Get that on there. Try not to touch that because it will be wet for a little bit longer. And there you go. I may put a couple of little birds in the background, you know, like the old school birds that we used to draw like that. I might chuck a couple over there just to balance that side of it out. But there you go. Super simple. A lot of die cutting. It's all die cut except the sentiment, obviously. But it's very, very easy to do. And quite a lot of fun, especially if you use all your scraps to cut all these little bits out. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you like, subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to see more from me. And I will see you in the next one, guys. Bye. Hope you're all well.